She's been eyeing us for weeks. Is today going to be the day she actually picks us over the dumbbells?
Every time you go to work out, you look around the gym and on one side, your dumbbells. On the other side of the gym, you see the kettlebells. Up until now, you see the kettlebells and you think, man, those look really cool, but I just don't know how to use them. They're a little intimidating, so you go for the tried and true dumbbell. You know exactly how to do your exercise with them, so you can get in, get out. And then you're wondering in the back of your mind, are kettlebells actually all that different for dumbbells? What's the difference? Is it something that you should try to do? And your curiosity gets the best of you. So asking, what's the difference between dumbbells and kettlebells? For one, when we're talking about dumbbells, here's what you got, right? You have the same amount of weight on one side of the handle as you do on the other side, which means if I were to say, balance this for me on your fingertip, assuming that it's light enough to do that, you'd put your finger right in the middle of the handle and boom. That is the center of gravity, which makes it very easy for your body to hold. However, if I were to say that about a kettlebell, you can't, because technically the center of gravity is in the center of the bell, which because of the way that the handle is laid on just one side, makes the center of gravity off actual center. So what does that mean when it comes to your workouts? It actually means that your body has to work a little bit harder in order to stabilize it and hold it in position, which means you're going to be recruiting more muscle fibers, specifically more muscles in your core. So that's obviously one perk. Another perk is the way that you're able to use the kettlebells versus the dumbbells. Let's go over to the floor. Dumbbells are fantastic at doing exercises that are called grind exercises, meaning that there is a concentric phase of your exercise and an eccentric phase of your exercise. The contracting of your muscles and then the lengthening of your muscle. When we're talking about grind exercises, the things that come to mind are things like presses, right? Squats, where you can change the tempo based on your body. You are in control of the speed of the full range of motion of the exercise. However, here's the thing that makes kettlebells really cool. You can do all of that with a kettlebell, but you can also do something called ballistic exercises. Ballistic exercises are moves that are focusing on power and plyometrics. We are popping and focusing more on the concentric phase or the shortening of a muscle. So think about like a bicep curl. You're curling the weight up. That's your concentric. Your eccentric is when you're lowering it down. But with kettlebell ballistic exercises, there's not much of an eccentric phase. You're actually focusing on using gravity more for the eccentric phase. So things like kettlebell swings, for example. I am powering with my posterior chain to get the weight up, and while I can have some force to come down, I'm accelerating that force as much as I can, and I have gravity working with me to pull it down. So what does that do? One, it is a fantastic exercise at actually building power, which power and explosiveness is so beneficial for overall athleticism, for functional fitness, and has an absolute place for helping you improve skills like deadlifts. Whereas with a dumbbell, you really can't do that. It makes it very, very awkward with the shape of the handle. Can you do certain ballistic moves like snatches and cleans with a dumbbell? Yes, but again, you're gonna get more bang from your buck with the kettlebell when you're doing cleans or snatches, simply based on the fact of the handle, but you're also, like I said, firing off a lot of your core muscles with the kettlebell. So here's your lesson. You can do everything with a kettlebell that you can do with a dumbbell, but you cannot do everything with a dumbbell that you can do with a kettlebell. Another feature about kettlebells that I really want to stress as well is the ability to create flows, one exercise to the next, which when we're talking about doing things like ballistic exercises, we can do. We can do things like a clean, into a snatch, into a press, straight into swings. Tie it all together. If you do some flows with a moderate weight for up to 3 to 5 minutes, that is a crazy heart-pumping cardio workout where you're not really going to be able to do much of that with an actual dumbbell. You're most likely going to do your sets of X reps and then rest and then do your set again. And then the last benefit of kettlebells is that you don't need an entire collection. You don't need every single weight in order to really improve your skills. I recommend just having a light, medium, and heavy kettlebell, and those will really get you through your initial kettlebell exercises for several years, still with progressing from one workout to the next because you can make your exercises harder, you can go for time, you can go for increased reps, and you're still gonna feel the bang for your buck without having to go heavier in weight every single time, where with a dumbbell, a lot of times you hit that ceiling pretty fast and you're going, I need to add more. Maybe I need to start going into using more barbell work in order to make exercises harder. Well, kettlebells are a skill. So if you are really just focusing on trying to get in, get out, your sole goal is to build muscle, then kettlebells might not be for you. However, if you enjoy learning new skills and you're trying to build your overall fitness, you're trying to get a cardiovascular workout, you're trying to burn body fat while still recruiting a lot of big muscle fibers for an overall total fitness experience, kettlebells might be exactly what you need to train with. If this is helpful for you, let me know and comment with your questions down below. I will personally be happy to answer anything. And if you're not already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I put out new videos every week and I'd love for you to be able to see them.